Hello, welcome all.
Last one as he thought.
This is Dice of Ages. What? How do I do this again? This is Dice of Ages presenting CrestVahllen, the Argent Flame, and we are back at the table. We're just talking about what was going on, how our weeks were and everything, and so hey, we've got new sound. So I want to put out a very huge and heartfelt thanks to all those that helped us gain this new sound equipment. We got a bunch of cool. We got a mixer and some cool podcast microphones and all that nasty jazz. I want to big thanks out there to Cameron. He helped us with our video camera. He helped us with a massive amount of the sound equipment. So big applause to him. We love you so very much. Thank you to Demetrius. A big applause to him. He's shelled out quite a bit of money for these microphones as well. And Adam, big shout out to Adam. Thank you very so much. A bunch of us people at the table. Thank you. It feels great to be so cherished and loved and valued by our friends here. So we're glad that we can bring you some really, really good sound now.
TJ, are you getting emotional?
I'm trying not to cry. I said I wouldn't cry. Why don't you give me beer so I don't cry?
Make him break down too.
That doesn't sound right.
Start the stream. Had a breakdown.
I've been a
Bon
bartender.
appetit.
Nobody I've known, I give beer and they don't cry if they're ready
really?
to.
If you're already emotional,
If they're ready
Oh,
to.
if you're already emotional, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
it's not gonna help.
Tequila is the worst. Tequila will make you very emotional.
Tequila's the best.
Tequila will make me very unconscious.
I think everybody has their spirit that just wrecks them.
Yeah. I want to congratulate Noelle on her promotion.
Congrats.
Thank you.
What about our birthday?
And yes, happy birthday! Coming up in 2 days from Noelle. She is a spry 30
30-something.
something.
Don't do it, TJ. Don't do it, TJ.
She's 30.
She's a beautiful, young, and spry 30.
3,000. Yep.
I have to I love that. Go I'm in your elder. You should listen to me. I was born in the 1900s. That's like one of my new things when I'm talking to people that were born after 2000, because there are people that were born after 2000 and that blows my mind.
There's a whole
bartender?
generation.
There's a whole generation
Were you born in the 80s?
that can drink now that have been born after 2000. That fucking blows my mind, and I'm just
Late 80s, no less.
I was in the club in the.
Well, no, wait. I don't think he's an 80s one,
He's
but
1990.
and I was in college in the 90s.
Okay, all right.
You're not that old,
Hey,
TJ.
you don't have to like me, but watch your mouth. Okay, cool. So we'll get into it then. But hey, when we go around the table and introduce people like we usually do, we have the distinct pleasure here of having at the table Adam.
I'm Adam. I play Zemdak Flintsweeper, the gnomish artificer. However, I'm currently going by different names, so if you hear me say something, I'm undercover. I am changing the world with inventions.
Ooh. What kind of inventions?
I sent you my idea for my latest one,
Wait, where?
the Pit Digger.
Where? When did you send it to me?
A
On
couple
what
weeks
platform? On what platform?
ago. I don't remember. It was during our game.
you're changing the world one piece of biomass at a time.
Yes.
I'm spreading gnomish inventing across the world.
Okay, yeah. Right. I know. I love the vignettes where you kind of see into the future as you're looking at these other traveling tinkers, and you're like,
That's me.
"That's me. I'm gonna be that." And you're like not upset about it. You're just like, "Yeah, okay, that's okay."
I can be that guy.
Yeah, it sounds great.
I just need more junk.
You have
I
noticed
need
that
more
there-
bags of holding to hold all of the junk that I need to find.
I know. That's the only thing, though. The other thing you have noticed is that they are all alone.
Yeah.
So that's another thing you might have to grapple with.
Or I can just continue traveling with my friends.
And just be the one traveling tinker that has a troupe that travels with them.
I mean, you do have your mimics.
Yeah,
I'm just going to throw
that's
that
true.
out there.
I do have my
You're
own
just gonna
menagerie.
create this.
I'm just waiting for him to have like mimic armor that he's wearing
Yes,
around him.
I'm so excited about that too. Or like he breeds mimics and then he causes them to like pretend to be his friends after you have all died, and they're just like walking as mimics around.
It's actually it looks like us, but it's just like which
just-
for log would not be that much of a stretch. But
Well, oh my god, it's so mean.
No, I would train them to be like dead face, and then the mouths would actually be in their
Oh, like
they
Ditto
would
face,
just,
like Ditto
like,
from Pokemon.
when they eat something, their mouths don't open. They just like
they just
split.
unhinge the center of their body.
I love that.
Or like vertically. It's like
I think the only person
Yes.
that's going to, because all y'all are gonna die reasonably soon,
Except these two.
except for Argus is the only one that might be able to live as long as you. Yeah, and granted, I could totally see you being like
love
an
that.
old married couple, just like on the road. You make that clockwork spider yet?
grumpy
Like,
old men.
Yes.
like that
What? I told you not to hide her. No, that
disorganized.
clockwork spider. Like,
Still aggravating him every time I don't
Yeah.
put something away correctly.
yeah, that's the movie it made me think of. Grumpy Old Men. That's
Oh, yeah.
exactly the movie that made me think of.
I
What
could
was his
literally see you just like putting it in the wrong spot constantly
purpose?
just to annoy him.
Yeah. What was the name of those two actors? We're like, you putz, get over here. I
Jack
need
Lemmon and Walter
Matthau.
Matthau.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
my God.
Jack Lemmon.
All they wanted to do was go fishing.
Yep.
too, and it was
They
the best
were
thing.
the original Odd Couple.
Oh yeah.
For us, that would be just like spending time in the forge. Everywhere else, we like hate everything about life. Except when we're building something, then we're fine.
Okay. All right. So now we also have the distinct pleasure of welcoming Demetrius to the table.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Big D. I play the Dragonborn Paladin, Eleazar, and during the week I was thinking about a few things, but I know that math really leads to a lot of answers, and so I just decided to give you three numbers, 319, and we'll see what that means next week. Three,
Next week.
one,
You mean next
nine.
session?
Next
Next
time.
session.
Did you
My
really
bad.
just like Big D tease me? Like,
Yes,
what the
I did.
hell?
319 for next session.
What
Ooh.
the heck?
This is
Yo,
cliffhanger.
giving me
Already at the beginning of the session.
multi-layered,
Rules and shit going.
multi-pot, like delayed cliffhanger intro. Oh my God, what is?
Well, they got to come back to see what it means.
Guys,
right?
welcome. We have reached another level of gaming
I feel like I
here.
read something online about those two numbers recently.
I'm like, now I'm curious. Now I'm like involved in your world building here. Now I'm invested. Okay, all right, and Kevin.
Hey, I'm Kevin. I play Cole Vodison, the bard sorcerer. And, there's nothing better about being a bard besides drinking, playing your music, and pretending to actually listen to what other people fucking say.
You mean like in the wall?
There were people in the wall?
I know, you guys were drunk. It's,
I'm Kenton. I play Argus Firebeard, our dwarf cleric of the light. And I'm going to have to go step up and call my wife because she lit my smoker on fire. So, I'll be right back.
So if it's not you setting things on fire, it's
Yeah, she literally
oh
set my
wow,
smoker
yeah.
on fire.
Yep,
So-
yep.
Wait, your daughter set
No.
something on fire?
No, my
His wife.
Set what? Up? The
smoker.
smoker?
Yeah. So I gotta go call her real fast.
Okay.
Right, go.
I mean, that
There's a
happened
fire in your backyard. Go.
Literally
Like,
the one
didn't
time
you
you want to
cook
put out
with
the fires.
smokers?
Firebeard
Just
family in
close
real
it
life.
up.
Oh my God, for real.
Seriously?
Yeah, that's happened to me before. It's just all the buildup of all the
It's
stuff.
because
All the
last
carbon,
time
yeah. Well, you're at the table now.
I'm at the table now. I'm Noelle. Today I'm playing Trishani Ankmut, the Kenrin blade singing or blade dancing wizard. And, I am just thinking back to Logren Stoneswarm, and I just want to say I really hate seeing another hunted soul. So, Sorry to bring down the mood, but
Yeah, what the fuck? Why did you do that?
it was poignant. I don't know.
I know it was great. No, we love it. I was just like,
Don't worry, Log will come up with something that's very.
we're all like, yuck, yuck.
I'm the
and you're just
tragedy
like,
face.
you're like,
New
children
comic.
die every day. And I'm like, oh my God.
You know, with an illusion spell, we could actually make your blade sing.
Could be kind of fun, actually.
All right.
Kids,
Ever
close
remember
your
the
ears.
shade again? We could freak her out by making your blade sing too.
I know. Be like,
And yours will even sound better than hers.
Oh, I
Right.
think that's another that is another goal for the tinker is to like either make like a blade that actually has like a hollowed whistled out portion, so when you swing it, it actually does sing, or have a mimic turn into your sword so it does go or sings while you're
I
actually
mean,
king.
I had the idea just
It could be interesting.
hearing about the bullwhip and everything like that, where it's got the crack at the end because it makes a mini sonic boom.
Yeah.
So like, oh, hey, thunder wave on your whip, just at the end of it.
Oh, yo, tell me about that. So I played a rogue paladin back in the day, and a whip still counts as a melee weapon, right?
Yes, it does.
And so I wanted to put smite. I played Eldritch. Well, I took the magic initiate, took booming blade as a cantrip, wanted to put smites into my melee weapon as a whip, but wanted to do it from afar.
You got 10-foot reach, so
because I got the 10-foot reach, exactly. So then I could like hit somebody and move away without provoking attack of opportunity, and then they would be forced to move, which would trigger the extra damage from booming blade in order to get me. I had this whole I was absolutely
and
min-maxing.
then the DM said no.
And the DM said, "No, you can't do that." And I was like, "Okay."
well, since I'm the the whip wielding part, thank you for giving me ideas.
Oh yeah, it was great. So it made a lot of sense doing like the booming blade on the break of the
Are
sonic
you
barrier at
kidding
the
me?
end
I
of the whip.
looked
Yeah.
at booming blade when I took my sorcerer level. for
Yeah,
that
booming
exact-
blade is a beautiful spell. It's just it's a gorgeous spell. You just have to like Eldritch Knights are really really good at using it. Anybody who takes the magic initiate who's a martial class is really good at using it. So anyway, combine that with smite and you have and sneak attack. You have a devastating amount of amazing damage. But you have to do the whole multi-attribute dependent. Anyway, I'm getting it out of class.
Yeah.
Cody, welcome to the table.
I am Cody, and I play our bugbear warlock, Log jamming. There's nothing weird about shitting in a bucket. All right, for some people, that's all they have. It's a receptacle. You can empty it, you can clean it. It's not that weird. Now, talking to the shit bucket, that's a little fucking nutty. If you've been eating peanuts, then it's really fucking nutty. I have even heard that sometimes it can be a little gory.
If you didn't watch last episode, you don't get that, but that's okay. I mean, it's still funny, even if you don't have context.
The
you still
things
get
that
corn
Log
and nuts.
says.
You're still
at the
getting
start of-
corn and nuts.
They don't always digest completely.
Ooh, I mean, I hope nuts do, if you chew them properly. No, really?
I mean,
Why eat them then?
Well, they still digest, but
Yeah, there's
sometimes
still-
I mean,
nutrient
that
still
one,
comes out of
that's
them. They
still
just
not
don't
as
fully
bad
break
as the
down.
comparison story between midnight being eaten.
So, okay,
it
so
also depends on your.
this is big on a poop story. So I,
no.
God.
I
No, no,
don't
no.
think that I've ever witnessed a nut in my defecate.
I have.
Didn't we just talk
That's
about?
because you don't have kids.
If that is a word, defecate. I assume that is.
Because you don't have kids.
You see so many random things. And
Oh my god!
I mean, you still pull nutrients out of it, but it just doesn't break down.
fully.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that corn like barely gives you any nutrients whatsoever.
It's basically pure fiber.
Yeah, it's just fiber, which is one of the other reasons why it just doesn't break down as well. But yeah, I've never seen like a nut in my poop.
I mean, it has
before.
also been multiple years since you've eaten nuts.
I
So that
know,
might be
but
part of it.
there was a decade or more of me eating nut. No, there was like a decade and a half or 2 decades. Yeah.
But
2
were you
decades.
really paying attention though?
And do you really?
I mean, were you
did-
turning around like, nuts in there?
I mean, like everybody does it. You do it every once in a while.
Right.
You'd be like,
Well, there was this one.
I mean, I literally saw nuts and poop today when my daughter was going to that.
Thank you.
Honestly.
Okay. Well, that's okay. As a male of the human species, you gotta admit that every once in a while you'd be like, "How big was that?" You turn around, you just double check. You'd be like, "Yeah, man." all right."
I'm sorry, coming from a medical family, I check every time because that will be one of the first things to tell you if something's wrong.
Exactly. I mean, like, yo, like,
My mom was
I
a
gotta sign.
microbiologist, literally. What does your poop tell me?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a big indication. Your urine, your poop. I mean, that's why I asked for stool samples and urine samples, the whole thing.
Everything comes down to poo. There's a whole scrub song.
If a doctor's,
Yes,
if a
it
doctor's
is.
ever asking for your poop, that means they feel that you're really sick, but they don't know what the fuck's going on.
Right. I do. If you've ever taken like medicine on a daily basis, like medication that you take that you prescribe with,
I've never had to do that.
No. Just wait. Let me finish. Like, and sometimes the capsules, especially if they're time release capsules, aren't fully digestible, right? They'll just
Well,
just
they're
part of them-
cellulose, which is not fully digestible.
Right. So, but only part of them do, and so because it opens a little hole in the pill and then releases the medicine slowly throughout, which is like kind of a time release deal. So the capsules filled with like the gunk of your, not like poop, but just like straight up the gunk of your intestines end up in your poop, and so you just get these floating capsules sometimes.
I
swear.
hate to rain on your parade,
Swear.
but the gunk in your intestines
poop.
is your poop.
No, but it wasn't.
That's kind of what it
It
is.
wasn't poop. Joe. It was something else.
You know what's
Yeah,
great?
It looked like black algae.
We're using this
Black
first session of really great sound to talk about poop.
Really depends on what you're eating and other chemicals.
The best you've ever heard of.
Best money spent.
I mean, yeah.
I love this. We came here to play
why-
D&D, but we are now having a full poop talk.
Yeah.
Full fecal
So
conversation.
this is, I think it's what's happened is that now that we have podcast mics, we're in the podcast mode where it's just talking about bullshit like poop,
Little
and,
shit.
literal
shit.
shit, just talking about literal shit.
Hey, we've now started at the bottom. We can only go up from here.
You haven't met us.
This is your first time listening to our session.
All right, so I do want to do a little bit of ritual. I did this whenever we got new sound. I did a lot of weddings with like a live band and a bunch of cool like DJ stuff and whatever. Anyway, to work my way through college and after college, and so anytime we got like some really good new equipment, we would cut the tags off and like a little bit of ceremony. So I left the tags on for everybody's in. So if you want it, you can pass the things around and you can cut your tags off so that you have your own little mics. Especially when like we would we'd do this, especially if we spent a lot of money on them. Like, be like, this is a $500 condenser mic. we definitely did a thing.
We officially can't return it now.
Yeah, exactly. That was the thing. So you're like,
Yes.
Do not break this.
Yes.
We can't claim that it came here broken.
yay, we did it, guys.
Now you sit around and you're going to watch how everyone passes their scissors to determine if they're lawful or if they're neutral.
Or chaotic.
Right. I pass my
Right.
scissors like this. I'd be
And
like,
if I
yeah, it's just like surprise me at that point. Just
Again.
surprise me.
Chaotic.
It's like what is that one meme? They go like, I just want to be taken out, and they're like, by like on a date or by a sniper, and they're just like,
Either or.
surprise me. Okay, great. I suppose we should probably play some D&D, right?
Probably.
Maybe, you know.
It's kind of why we're here.
Okay, cool. Is the music
You
okay?
guys came to play D&D. I came to talk about poop. This is not what I
when,
agreed
when,
to.
when you were able to hear,
Heard the same
okay?
thing.
Is that a good level?
Couldn't hear much of
A
it.
lot of the same thing. Sometimes the poop talks back. That's D&D.
Well, we have to spread biomass.
I think go ahead and connect to the Wi-Fi. It should be fine. I am at 0.2 skip frame, so I'm good.
You know, we could just carry
Just let
around
me
a
know.
poop bucket full of alkaline, like, with us on our adventures.
You wanna hook me up?
Do we want to carry a poop
this
bucket
new
with
phone?
us, though?
Hell no.
Exactly.
I've never
We should
connected to
frame it
Wi-Fi
out if
like
we're
that.
going to do
Really?
that. Into,
some
like,
places
a
you go
full
back,
suit of armor.
sometimes have to.
So
Yeah.
that he can actually like control something.
The suit of armor toilet, like, You know, you can open it up and use it as a toilet, and then but he can still control it.
We have a whole another NPC for TJ to mess with.
Yes, a transformer.
Bio.
We're never gonna get off this poop topic. Are we?
It's biomass.
It was my fault. I brought it up.
I'll just leave. A
You
little
asked us for
anti-log
biomass. You should have known where we
That's
were
true.
going to go
every
with
time we
it.
can.
Just so public PSA. It is a healthy thing to do to check your stools to make sure you're okay. It is not a weird thing. Let's normalize it.
But if you start talking,
Hey, hey,
Okay.
Then that's a little bit.
come on, everybody poops.
Depends. That's all I'm
Everybody,
going to talk
everybody poops. Everybody poops except Kim Jong Un.
But yes, not safe for work. The
This has
poop,
been
poop safe for
established.
work, but you know,
I mean, don't poop at your desk, but you know.
well, pooping.
It depends on where you work.
Yeah.
She can poop at her desk if she wants to.
Please don't. What? Your desk isn't the whole house. This is just your. Please don't poop on your desk. I'm gonna have to clean that up. No, I will be the one to clean that up.
Can we?
So
Yeah.
what I just heard is, don't
Okay.
piss her off so
I can go
much
up.
that she wants to poop at her desk, on her desk. That's what I
She's
just
not a
heard.
cat that's just going to get pissed at you and poop in random places.
I am like an adult here, guys. I know I don't act like it. I am potty trained. I promise.
It's like those people who just like who decide that they're going to quit the spectacular fashion and go and take a dump on their boss's desk.
Right. Oh man.
I'm done with you.
I can't do that because I'm a remote worker though. So
Always bail it.
here you go.
To be opened on desk.
Up more.
If you're going to do that, you need to
more?
put it in a bag and set it up so that way when they open it, it starts it on fire.
Right.
You put it in one of those exploding cards. Are you sure you don't need to start because it's just going to keep going?
We can go up a little bit further.
Oh my god. Like I have it very like Looney Tunes style. Like
I mean,
in my mind. It's great. It's great.
I can just think about like those ads for those cards that you open up and all.
The little confetti comes out too.
Are picking up.
Fuck you.
Welcome to my brain.
Like,
Seriously, with us it's either poop or sex. Come on.
I mean, you
I
know.
don't want to transition how they're connected.
annoying.
We should
How many people, how many people fingered and or fisted Log's eye hole?
All right, stop.
I mean, I think I pulled the shocker once in there too. So.
Yeah, I think
You did. You
Just to connect
specified.
the poop.
You specified.
Yeah,
that
you
too.
did.
it's just something I
need
noticed.
All right. Yeah. Let's. Y'all want to play some D&D?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's off our topic. So yes.
It's been a half an hour. We've been talking about poop for half an hour. Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah. That's what life is about. Yeah.
If you're just turning in, make
Half
sure
an hour
you
introduction
skip the first
slash-
half an hour.
Right.
Episode.
Okay, so let's see if I can do this properly.
Contains graphic discussions.
I was gonna. Okay. Hopefully.
You just broke
beware.
Noel.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot to bring my crossbow to shoot him when he calls you Machete.
Why are you?
Ah, dang it.
Oh. Did we agree upon that?
Yes, we did
That
while you
was
were
a
drunk.
Please.
You actually agreed to it.
You're like, yeah,
Sure, if
sure.
that will hold up in court.
your tag's still up.
Oh no! Right.
Yeah, don't forget
What
your
have I
part in the
done?
ritual too.
What have I done, sweet Jesus? What have I done? Oh
I
wow!
had 2 witnesses.
We did it, guys. We did it. Welcome to an age of new sound. Okay. Yeah, let's do a recap of last session. So we're gonna be recapping episode 47, 48, and 49, and this will then be episode 50. Great. I think we'll be leaving off on the 28th. We're gonna pick back up on the 28th, right? Of Highlock.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Yes.
All right. So let's do this. After Boots is dismissed by the Moonray, a mimic pauldron now adhered to the artificer's shoulder, and onchioline spores deposited within the Elder, Deep Dome, Pinjack is left to be debriefed and the late faction's funds are returned. Mostly. Meanwhile, back at the Quarry's Qualm, or the Whispering Wall, Trisheni hears just that while she's working on her spellbook transcriptions. With the help of Log's ghostly gaze and Cole's keen ears, the three witness a scene of representatives from both Clan Mortanic and Herak conspiring against Clan Vogel, exchanging payment and planning a possible accident and riot during a future spectacle of oration. Shakar is sent to retrieve the rest of the party, and they all reconvene at the inn. Trisheni stays guarded by Pernua, Tweg, and Moonchild, while the others case the tavern for more information. Ermgrim leaves with Shakar to attempt to find the Immolate somewhere in Steercrag, saying he should be back by late afternoon tomorrow. Log learns from Bilgrar, the barkeep, that there are rumors of the clans preparing for something to go down, hence the majority egress. The disguised bugbear also convinces Bilgrar to collect and save his compost to help grow some alchemical assistance. Eleazar has a veiled conversation with a fellow bounty hunter of half-elven origin, identified only as pleased to meet you, learning that they may be after someone known to the party. After returning to the gang's table, a drink is bought for the silver dragonborn by the mysterious stranger, and he exits the inn with a purpose. The group returns to their rooms upstairs and collect within the Sky Lounge to discuss current events and possible plans. Thoughts on how to intervene and what to do about the Vogel orator are contemplated, but decisions prove difficult to attain. Meanwhile, Pernua stabs a peeper through the wall that Tweg tracks down to the end of little consequence, although they do bear the symbol of Clan Herak. Trisheni checks on Ermgrim through Shakar, witnessing an emotionally potent scene of fire and blade, the only word uttered being Vogel. The political nature of Steercrag is reflected upon, as are the paradigms of cowboy diplomacy, public opinion, and the trials. Argus sends to Ermgrim, warning him that someone may be hunting him, but Ermgrim only responds with a warning of his own, and that there are bigger fish to fry. As Log dreams that night, an exaggerated form of Moonchild speaks to him, stating that truth is within. Awakening on the 28th of Hylock, Pernua shares her observation of some peepers as Shakar checks on a ragged Ermgrim, a fanged tomahawk on his belt. Heading downstairs, the party have breakfast and plan their next move, deciding to visit the Fang, gaining entry with the aid of Cole's beam. The party leave their weapons and enter the estate, a heavy feeling of apathy hanging on the air. Eventually, the gang meet with the Arbiter, Kaladin, who describes the grim reality of that their lord faces. Meeting the Lord Steercrag, the Lord of Steercrag, Logrin Stoneworm, in the courtyard, the group note that he is bereft with sorrow, tending to a grave, a still dwarven babe's visage peering through the earth below. They speak of loss, love, and war, mourning his late son and wife. The troop finally convince Logrin to look above his misery and apathy, but for a moment, offering an eternal flame upon the grave, so that the sun would never again be bathed in darkness. Logrin claims that he is the true heir to Grimdramar, before offering his service to the party. Now, let's get back to the action. Welcome back to CrestVahllen.
Gonna say this. Good guess.
Good guess?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
For the
I moved
timing.
it around a little bit, but I did it so quietly you didn't notice. That's okay, I guess. Well, my day's ruined then, now that you noticed.
But that's just kind of.
I was watching this though, and I found it really
Just the way
funny.
it is.
The
Yeah.
microphone doesn't pick up like side talk anymore. But
Yeah.
but the camera still does.
Of course
So
it
the
does.
camera will
The
focus
camera's like,
on you.
What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah.
Everyone will know.
Yeah.
Whispering.
These bitches are having a secret conversation.
Y'all.
As long as he doesn't notice us doing that, that way we can make our secret
I
plans that
see.
surprise him.
I see all. at my table. This is my
Use the
table.
all-knowing eye.
I see all.
All-seeing.
Okay, cool. So, I'd like to do a little bit more of an in-depth recap as to what happened last time, because audio, we had a little bit of some audio issues in the sad moment last time because things were quiet, and before we upgraded, there was a good amount of stuff that just didn't get picked up. So I want to describe the scene here as to what has happened. You came into the courtyard where the Lord of Steercrag, Logrin Stoneworm, was kneeling down, dusting off the dirt before a gravestone, like very, very, very delicately. You saw that the guards and the butler or whoever happened to be here was very lethargic, and it seems like, just kind of like either half asleep or not really doing too much. And you approached him, and he was just wallowed in his absolute abject grief. And what you saw before you, although a little, not necessarily gruesome, but just macabre, that the visage of a child, a dwarven babe's face peering out, buried all the way up to, like, I would say, like, their cheekbones, but their face, like, dull and gray, kind of like the same skin tone as Pernua has. Eyes closed, still, past, no longer living, but the face still above the ground. On the gravestone in Dwarvish, you were able to read, "Here lies beloved leader, warrior, and wife." I have it here. Because we didn't exactly cover this last time, but that's okay. Because this was easy to notice, all you had to do was be able to read Dwarvish, and you were able to read this. Here lies beloved leader, warrior, and wife, Cadfael Stoneworm, Cadfael, and beloved son and light in the darkness, Moomin Stoneworm, Mumin. You had a conversation, or at often one-sided, talking to this supposedly powerful figure of Lord of Steercrag in such a depressive state. Found out that this is his son, whose his face, this dwarven babe's face, that is out here, and that the reason why he was buried like this was because he was afraid of the dark, and his father didn't want to cover his face, even in death. Cole attempts to approach things diplomatically, or at least somewhat charismatically, but it quickly ends up devolving into a conversation of comparing grief, of which he doesn't really necessarily respond well to. He cites, like, you child, like, I'm hundreds of years older than you. What do you even know? What do you even know about war? Have you ever been in war before? It's like, it is an entity of greater power than we would ever know, and all it does is leave people as a thing to be covered in dust. And he says all this through these dry tears, almost as if his tear ducts have run out. There's a drought in his body he has reached the statute of limitations of how much grief he can bestow physically, but his mind and his soul still weep. He begins to get frustrated, and you can sense his apathy. It's strong. His apathy of, like, a few of you mentioned, so that's it, you're just going to give up. And And the way he rationalizes this is it's better for them to die, the people here to die sooner than later, so that they don't have to suffer the indignity of living a life fraught with turmoil and sadness and suffering. And he seems resigned to that. Things go back and forth. One of you mentions that, oh, I was there. I've seen people die in front of me. I was at Katadim, and he said, so was I. Eventually, there comes a point where words can only do so much. For someone as wise as those of you within the groups that we have here, that have experienced true loss, you know that feeling never truly goes away. It gets better, but it never goes away. And so there's only so much that talking about it can do. And they say that time heals all wounds, but it doesn't always heal it all the way. The scar and the bruise will always be there. And you can sense that this is still somewhat fresh for him. And so he's in the throes of grief and misery. With the wisdom of your cleric, they're able to recognize that it is not through words that you're going to reach this person, but through action. Symbolic action at that. You donate your eternal flame in this silver lantern, this silver flame suspended and floating in this lantern that you had been carrying with you for a long time now, since you created it. As you rest it down beside the gravestone, alighting the babe's face, an eternal light that will never be extinguished, so that the babe never has to, that Moomin never has to be in the dark ever again. And Logren stares at you, Argus, in disbelief as his gaze slowly descends and falls, his eyebrows lifted off of their perch of stun, and his gaze just sweeps across of what's left of his family, now lit. And he has a moment where the last tear he has in his body finally drops from his face and hits the ground. He stands up, takes a heavy sigh, breathes deeply, closes his eyes, grabs his beard, and spreads it across his face. And he composes himself the best he can for the moment. With eyes half closed and then opening to gaze at not your eyes, but just the spot of where your navels may be. His eyes not ready to recognize the life within another being just quite yet. He looks at you all, and he says, I am Logren Stone. And I didn't say this the last time, but I want to say it this time because I love Gladiator. Father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, Lord of Steercrag, and true heir to Grimdarmar. And I am at your service. And that's where we're going to pick it up.
Grimdamar is where Ermgrim is from, isn't that right? Or am I wrong with that? Oh.
And Ermgrim claims that he's the true heir to Grimdamar.
Yeah.
Grimdamar, from what you know and you've been told, is one of the great fortresses, Duragar fortresses, that sits above a massive geode of Terrazine.
Cole's
That's not terribly far from here. Go ahead.
Cole's gonna connect over to Argus and go, oh, this just got complicated. Got 2 heirs of Grimdamar?
Well, they gotta be related somehow. I don't know how you approach that subject.
Do you know Grimgrim?
Well, you see him at a family reunion, maybe? Like, and
Are you related to him? Like, would he will try and kill you?
I mean, we don't know how their political structure actually is set up. We don't know how that heir system works.
It could be because Ermgrim disappeared is what made him the true heir, too.
it's possible.
He's not a Duragar, correct?
No, he's a full dwarf.
Okay.
He's a full dwarf. Yeah, I should probably explain a little bit more as to what he looks like. He has a very high widow's peak that goes by and kind of has like that Batman's thing going on, where like the front a bit has kind of like how mine does, where it's got that front like little thing that's almost becoming an island because the other 2 sides are receding so much, like the sand traps.
That's a cul-de-sac.
He's basically...
It's becoming a cul-de-sac. It's not quite
Quite there.
detached yet. It looks more like a semicolon. But it's becoming there, and it is this. It's a dark red hair, but it's so dark that it's becoming this like auburn brown now, with these streaks of gray throughout. He's an older dwarf.
I don't know why. I'm picturing Zerg from, The Fifth Element right now when he says that.
Oh, right. With like the plastic headpiece that goes off to one side.
Yes, I don't know why, but the way you described it, I was like...
That headpiece is so fucking wild. Right. So and then his hair comes down, and it comes down into this braid it's a short braid. Rather than like long hair, it's like this short braid that has so much tension and it's pulled so taut that it like sticks out and is like firm. It's like a turgid braid that sticks out the back. So it's like rather than a ponytail that just kind of like is limp, it's firm. Okay, God, jeez. There's nothing wrong with the word turgid. Normalize it.
It's just when you use turgid and limp in the same sentence.
Yes.
I don't know what to say to you.
I just understand no one else's brain when it comes to things.
He has his beard.
I went there.
His beard is of the same, just a little bit more scraggly, and actually has become what looks like patchy near the sideburn area, almost as if like he's like stress shedding or like getting old, and like it looks rather unkempt. It is kept in a loose braid, but it looks rather unkempt, and it's a little lopsided, probably from the fact that he hasn't bothered to care for it. What color is it? Mm-hmm. It is the same color as his hair, but the part that's closer to his face is starting to like get more grays and whites into it. He's like like the end of it is far more colorful because it was like hair from earlier in his life, whereas this is starting to like kind of have this kind of like chin strap of grays and whites and paler colors, kind of like think of it like almost turning into like this pale strawberry as well. His face has a kind of a vented tunnel button nose that it's like bulbous and has a bunch of pock marks in it. There are several scars on his face. Look to be from entirely different sources, from entirely different angles and all different depths. Some gashes, some punctures, some lacerations, some blunt force trauma squiggly bits, like he was hit so hard, like near his ocular floor, that it just caused his skin to split and then healed squiggly. Looks like he's seen his fair share of combat. And due to that, some of his actual skeletal structure is a little lopsided. You see, one of his eyes is actually a little lazy compared to the other one. I don't want to say like it's not like Forrest Whitaker. It's more like that one eye is like his one eyelid just doesn't fully open all the way. Probably some from previous damage, and like his one eyebrow is a little lopsided. He's by no means ugly. He's just rugged and old and has been in combat before. Kind of looked like a grizzled general that has seen some shit. He wears... one of the first things you notice, especially those with you that have high perception, he smells. He smells pretty bad. He has probably not bathed for a while. He looks like he's also still wearing some sort of ceremonial, like, diplomatic armor, something that probably wouldn't do well in combat.
But you might wear it for like a ceremony, like a funeral or something like that.
Like a funeral, or if you're like an emissary, or like some sort of political or a diplomatic emissary or something like that. That kind of deal. It has this big breastplate with this winding like purple, like kind of geometric style purple worm on it, or like some sort of worm geometric style on it that is emblazoned in like this filigree of brass and copper. That is this big old breastplate that just kind of sits there, but it's not big enough to take his whole chest. It just looks like a shield upon his sternum, and these other layered plates that are, what is it called? Trimmed in what looks like a gold, but have these metal and steel upon them. But they're very thin. It doesn't look like something that would do. It's still armor, but it doesn't look like something that would do really great in combat. Then the cloth that hangs from this shield is that of kind of like priestal robes that kind of come off in strands, but each of them have different colors. Like there's some ochre, there's some crimson, there's some purple, but like a deep set purple. There's like a deep midnight blue, and just kind of come off in strands, but geometric ways so that they kind of like meet in a chevron. You notice that the ends of them are dirty, like they've been dragged through the dirt for weeks. It is very, very dirty, as well, as though he's been kneeling on his knees on them quite a bit. He stinks. He looks dirty. He looks a little unkempt. I mean, he's showing a lot of signs of full-on depression, grief, remorse, that whole thing. I think the only other thing that you probably notice is that he is armed. He is armed with on his back, he is armed with a very short shafted, but very wide and large bladed double axe. It is about the size of, if not larger than the width. He's very broad-shouldered, stout, dwarven, like very, dwarven. And he has, so it's this double-bladed axe is like this wide. It covers the entire broadness of his shoulders on his back, but it's a very, very short handle, so much so that like he has to hold in between the two blades as they curve around in order to like wield it. The blade is massive. It must be very, very heavy, but it's not. It looks like it doesn't require two hands. The blade, the weapon itself looks pristine, absolutely pristine. Looks like dwarven runes upon it. It looks usable and battle ready, but it also looks like it had been like polished or cleaned recently as a show of force or something, or just like, you know, to kind of be shown off. But yeah, that's like the only clean part of him. Yeah, that's what you see.
So after all that, let's leave and never talk to this guy again.
Jeez.
All right, everybody, we can leave now.
We know everything about this guy that we need to know.
Just go ahead.
No, I'm Argus Firebeard, cleric of Kosuth, keeper of the Red Flame, director of souls.
I like it.
Yeah, I know. I was like, all right, cool.
Look at it, you're gaining all these titles. I like it.
Director just doesn't quite sound.
Well, what else am I going to say? Manipulator?
No.
Arbiter.
User?
Usher.
I thought
Usher of souls.
Usher?
Forger of souls.
I like direct Forger of Souls is pretty good.
Just director sounds like you're in charge of all.
You guys are so you guys are straight up workshopping
didn't
this
hear
in front of
director.
him.
I did not hear director. I heard collector
I was
of
like,
souls.
I was just trying to figure out a way to make that, you know.
So
Yeah.
I love the idea that you guys are workshopping this in front of him, and he just kind of like
I was
looks
like,
back and forth.
Sorry,
between-
that one's a
Director?
new
Does
one.
director sound right?
I direct them just...
You be you.
No, I'm always open to gnomish interpretation.
I'm being a smartass.
Oh my god!
I'm sorry.
He's open to hearing it so that he can shoot it down ruthlessly.
I'm sorry.
that makes me
Going
feel
into
bad.
the Forger of souls.
Okay, I'm good with that. I'm good with Forger.
Like Cole's
part of
all like Cole's ignoring the argument and writes down Forger of souls.
You just see his eyes darting back between all of you as you guys are bickering about this.
Sorry, new titles.
Sorry.
Let's go.
sorry. We argue.
Aye. And what brings
Why
you
are we
here?
here?
There are those out there that like discord and the change of power, and we're out to upset them.
More so to protect the entire world, if you will. And it is not just your corner of the kingdom, so to speak. That is at stake here.
Speak plainly.
Okay,
I
so
don't
look,
have the. I'm not sure I have the energy to play anymore.
There's going to be a riot today.
you said you were in Carradine.
Aye.
That was the plot of a group of people who are also the ones who have been targeting you.
They're the ones who are pushing for Vogel or whoever to push your clan out of power.
From what we have found, they have plots everywhere.
Heck, they have plots within plots within
They
plots.
seem to all be coming to culmination now.
So, what's happened to you may not be a random act.
They may be the ones responsible for this.
We would like to help you thwart them.
I don't know what you're talking about. They died of disease. Murdered by the gods themselves.
What disease did they die of?
The shrieks.
Does Cole know anything about the Shrieks?
Roll a medicine check. Or, yeah, I'll say history or medicine.
Be medicine.
You're trained in that.
Yeah, exactly. Cole noticed. Cole's trained in medicine. 17.
17. The shrieks is like the street or slang term for cackle fever. It is a disease that, curiously, gnomes are the only race that are immune to, but dwarves are quite resistant to. And it, some other races are actually more vulnerable to it. It is bouts in which people just devolve into bouts of hysterical fits of like laughter and shrieking and kind of like Tasha's hideous laughter, but as a disease, and it causes you like it causes your mind to like degrade as it can't deal with the strain of like all the blood being flown a certain way, and some people it can very well be fatal. But it's a little odd because dwarves are quite resistant to it, especially given their natural constitution, resistant to poison, but it's not necessarily a poison, it's a disease. But there are very few cases of dwarves getting it.
Well, and how much would I know about how easily it's passed just to other people, including dwarves?
It is passed by you hearing somebody else laugh who has cackle fever. It's like passed through auditory waves, because it's a magical disease.
Okay.
It is, however, there are actually that's all you get with a 17.
All right. I mean, it could be natural. I'm not going to deny that, but are you seriously telling me that 2 dwarves in the same household died of a disease, and you don't find that suspicious? I've seen him like get sick. He doesn't get sick very well, whereas I get sick easily. So
You come to my home at the sight of my dead family, and you want to speak ill of them?
no, I want to speak ill of the people that potentially got them ill. It's possible that they went out of their way to make your family ill. This is not a disease that I've heard very many dwarves catching, let alone 2 in the same household.
Aye. A thought may have crossed my mind, but I don't know what I can do about it now.
I mean, you could destroy the plans of the people who did that.
If they, or whoever you say, has the power to strike and kill at the people that I protect the most, what makes you think they don't have the ability to do so to her remaining family members? Anyone else I treasure, hold dear, anything that I have left in the world, if I have anything at all. What makes you think that I could stop them if I couldn't stop them here? They already destroyed the thing most precious to me, the thing that I guarded at my very heart of my being. They have the, if this was planned, I have no defenses that they cannot penetrate.
Defenses, no, but you have power.
I
Vengeance is a powerful thing.
I understand, considering my family is being held at Spell Point.
Spell point.
If we are not able to stop this from happening, my family will be killed. So trust me, I can sympathize.
So wait, so if you said that he's father of a murdered child and murdered wife, then
He already thinks
Roll an
it's-
insight check. His log's thinking about that. You get advantage today because of your
Oh, that's
dream
right,
last
yeah.
night.
Hey!
I'm glad I watched that video last night to remind you.
I think I'm thinking insight.
I apparently didn't get there before, I got
So it's a 15.
But Tim,
Finished it last week.
you know something. I was asleep. He knows something. He's keeping something that... He was lying when he says, I don't know what you're talking about.
If you give up your power, you're not going to be able to do much. We're here to help you keep your power.
Giving up your power gives it to them even more so. And it's again, it's like you said before, it's the only thing that they do not want to reveal themselves. So that is their.
I mean, guys, really, if he's given up, he's given up. We could find somebody else to take his job.
There's still going to be a riot today, so if you didn't know.
I mean, there's some other warrior will stand out today that can always take over for the Stoneworm. You are correct.
There's always with somebody vying for
How do I
something.
know that I can trust any of you?
How can you know you can trust anyone? All you can do is try.
Well, that's a very meta way to approach this, but you could literally say that about anything.
Cole's gonna pull out his bead and go, "What reason do I have to lie to a ruler? As a bard, the college, you can make my life a living hell that way."
I understand that the agreement gives you opens some doors for you, but there's only so far that being's going to bring you in my favor.
No, what I'm saying is, if I were to lie to you, and you were to complain back to the college, it would ruin me. Because that agreement flows both
And
ways.
pick the great mark, because I'm not really in the mood to complain.
I mean, look at us. This guy doesn't know how to lie. I'm terrible at it. This guy doesn't understand why you would lie in the first place.
I'll be honest with you, and I'll drop disguise self.
Oh. Guys, this is getting good. Okay. He instinctively reaches behind him just because it's surprise, right? So he's a warrior, so he has warrior instincts.
Yeah.
So it's not what he sees. You could tell, especially with that insight that you rolled earlier, it's not what he sees that surprises him. It's the sudden magic right before him. That's something that he's probably ingrained in the muscle memory of. A spell is being cast right in front of me. I need to be ready to defend myself at any moment. And so, even though he's sad, his brain is completely dissociated, but his body just reacts. And you just see his hand grasp the axe behind him, but it doesn't pull it off of the housing in which it holds on his back. He just kind of has it firmly there. And then he lets the illusion finish fading, and he just... Aye.
For somebody who's ready to die, you sure are ready to defend yourself.
Force of habit.
Uh-huh.
Come at you with my religion, which is not an approved religion, or one that I...
You said you were keeper of some
of the
fire?
Of the red flame, of Kosuth.
I don't know what that is. But,
He's the primordial deity of fire.
I'll take your word for it.
Obviously not one that you are supposed to be toting around in these parts.
I mean, you've heard of the Keeper of the Black Flame, right?
Yes, I didn't realize they were color code.
You don't know anything about the blue flame?
Nay.
Can I insight that?
Yeah, you absolutely can.
That's
You
interesting.
could ask, do I believe him? Insight check.
Ooh, that's a 19.
19. So he's not necessarily lying, but it's whatever it is, there seems to be a lie of omission in there somewhere. So it's from what his intention, the way he's saying it is I don't know any blue keeper of the last flame, but you hear the brackets of the word personally in there somewhere. I don't know any blue keeper of the blue flame personally. So he's definitely omitting something. Granted, the fact that he said he was keeper of the red flame is a surprise to him. He didn't realize if he might just be learning of these things. Well, I mean, who knows? But you can tell that he's not being entirely truthful. You're getting the sense that although he may be a warrior, especially with that high of an insight check, he has good statecraft instincts where he knows how to say things without necessarily lying to kind of circumvent these types of, especially since there are spells out there that he's aware of to prevent lies and make sure truths and everything. He chooses his words very carefully.
Without trying to be so he can really see
Sure.
me doing it, I want to connect with him.
Okay.
And in his mind, I just want to say to him, Grim of Grimdamar, Keeper of the Blue Flame.
Okay.
And I'm looking for a reaction.
He's not aware of you.
Right.
He just hears the voice, right?
Right.
He doesn't like get a notification when you establish.
And
your
so like, all of a sudden he's just going to hear that voice in his head, and I'm trying to get an inside check just off the surprise of saying that to him.
No caller ID.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, you just see him like put his hand down. Does your voice enter his mind as your voice? Or is it just like more of an idea and it's not?
It enters as my voice. However, I'm trying to frame it so it doesn't sound like me.
Okay, you're just trying to just have it just as a thought.
Yeah, just
Okay.
like
Cool.
just putting that in there randomly.
Cool. Here's what I'm going to have you do. I'm going to have you roll a very easy roll just to see if you can like disguise that. Just make it like a deception check for me.
16.
16. Yeah, that's pretty good. You just kind of like put it in, make it sound like not necessarily like it's his voice in his own head, but sometimes you have those thoughts and they're not necessarily voiced. It's just like that. It's just
Yeah.
kind of like a banal type of thing. You just see him lift up his hand and just dig the heel of his palm into his temple. Almost like. Well, you don't know what that is. He doesn't seem to. He's not responding. Almost like he seems like he's trying to block it out. Like he's trying to ignore it. It went through though.
We've met somebody from Grim Damar recently.
Aye.
He was traveling with us and then he left us during the city before we came here. But he was claiming to be the true heir, so it's a little confusing when we hear you say it, especially because we thought it was a I'm going to say this wrong, Druger city. I don't know. Again, I've always read it until you start pronouncing it, so my brain wants to override it with how I used to pronounce it.
There's like a bunch of different ways to
Well,
pronounce
then
it.
you
yeah.
pronounce it your way because that's,
There's like
That's
there's
language.
a thought. There's a school of thought that it's like the German syntax in which it is spelled as like supposed to be that, but like the. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, anyway.
But he just kind of looks at you quizzically and is like. The right to claim Grundamar is mine by right. And a long time coming. Whoever this other is that you seek or that you say has claim is either a deceiver or does not exist.
if you're the true heir, why are you at war?
War. I'm not at war specifically with Grimdamar. None of us are. Is the reaching breach is a massive crack in the underworld underground that goes into the Underdark. How do you not know this? It is of all the denizens of the Underdark that may creep through there at any moment. It's not one city we fight. It is in another world.
We've seen some interesting changes in the Underdark.
Aye.
We saw a Mind Flayer attached to an Umber Hulk. Not a humanoid.
That's worrying. Not
so
sure
we can't
why,
have
but
you sit here and lose your strength in this time of major peril. We need someone who understands the Underdark and could maybe rally Grimdawar, because this is bigger than what we've seen.
An alliance between Grimdamar and Steelkrag could help hold back those hordes. And yet it sounds from everything we've heard in the city as though they're at war.
the war is not between cities. The war is between the agreement and the Underdark itself. As it always has been.
So an alliance seems to be a very important part.
It's one of the things that I had hoped to possibly approach at some time in the future before death itself decided to visit my doorstep.
Why would Vogel be trying to stoke the flames between the Underdark and the city?
Vogel has always been obsessed with power. By any means would they grasp at it, cling to it with claws unyielding. If that means they would have to create another skirmish or conflict in order to look the hero, then so be it.
Like the riot that's about to happen today?
Could very well be. This is the first I'm hearing of a riot, but
Might want to do something about it.
They are.
these are delicate matters. If I order the regulars to break up a political rally,
Somebody is planning on killing a bard
If
in your
all-
city.
If only there was a fun band of mercenaries at your disposal to help put down a little riot in the name of Stoneworm. To show
or not in the name.
Right.
whatever you think is best. I want
And perhaps the regulars just show up after it starts.
Yeah. To help aid any citizens, you know? So you're coming in and helping and not for hurt, yes?
There's
Instead of
Have you done this before?
Not intentionally.
but we watched it happen, like we said in Carradine.
I mean, as mercenaries.
we've done a lot of things.
That,
Well,
yes.
we did help stop the attack of
You-
the undead on Carradine.
We've killed purple worms.
I was about to ask, you said you were in Kennedy,
Yes.
and
we,
you saved people.
Yeah.
we stopped the person who started the whole thing and then helped save bitten orphans.
He and I spent an entire evening caring medicinally, surgically for those orphans so they would survive.
When you say you stopped the person who caused it, his eyes widen for a moment, but he quickly tries to cover that up by painting a stoic expression on his face. But you caught that with your passive insight. You caught that there's something there. When you say you helped do medical stuff to help save orphans, you see the tautness of his form that has just had this tension of just automatic warrior, always on guard, never lets his guard down, that whole thing, just because it's fully ingrained into the thing. You know when you carry stress around all the time and you don't realize it until you finally take that moment to woosah and exhale, let it go. You see his just body, just his shoulder just kind of melt and pull down, almost like his guard has fallen down as he just fully takes in the fact that you helped children that were in need, and him being a father that just lost his son. I'll let you fill in the blanks, but I will arrange to have regulars, at least the ones that are available, patrolling in a nearby quadrant, and in order them to keep their ears open. So if anything should occur, they should respond rather quickly. But I did not order them to do so, and I know of no such rally or riot that is to occur. And you are here purely for historical purposes, as your bard compatriot has decided to log the passing of a political and lordship figure. I cannot ask you to do this in earnest, you must understand. But you will foster goodwill with me. A favor, a boon I will owe you, off the record. Although, given the current political climate of what is happening right now, I can't guarantee the potency of such a boon for much longer, if at all. My power and my ability to exert my power is weakening by the minute.
Do you have any ideas of how to change that?
Besides,
The warrior in me tells me to challenge each head of each clan to trial by combat in order to prove that I am worthy of ruling, but I do not have the confidence at which I had before in order to believe that I would even be victorious.
your regulars out patrolling the city and doing something may help with that a little bit.
They have become extremely lax of late. It's most likely my fault.
It is.
One of the things that may help is if you looked like a lord and not a disheveled mourner. And Cole's gonna touch him and cast prestidigitation to clean him up.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, you clean him up. He lets you. You just talked about how you helped kids. He lets you touch him. He lets you touch him. Like his braid kind of gets tightened up, and like you see the bands around it kind of go kind of like a tie.
Smell disappears.
Yeah, the smell disappears. He looks cleaner. He looks as though, because he's still in those ceremonial armor garbs, looks as though he's ready to present to be an emissary for a delegation. He looks like fully ready, like tip-top shape. So he looks, and now in this form, he is in a word, ruggedly regal, or two words, I suppose. Ruggedly regal in the sense like, oh shit, they didn't get to the top just by being a politician. They were in the trenches at some point, and now they've earned the right to sit behind a desk a little bit, that kind of thing.
I'm sure you haven't been sleeping well. Can I give you a little something to give you a little energy?
5-hour energy drink.
I'm sorry.
No arcane to the Lord.
You want to put me to sleep?
No, I want to wake you up, give you some vigor.
Oh, I thought you were going to offer me some deadly nightshade.
Opposite direction.
An 8?
Pull out a syringe and in the thigh.
You just pull out a syringe. You go like, he's like, an 8, and just what? Kaigen him. He like swears in Dwarvish, whereas he's just like, Stone's Grace. Yeah, here you go. He's pretty much just like Stones and Morden's Grace. Like, what the fuck did you just do? And what do you?
Heroism.
You give him heroism. So for the next minute, he has temporary hit points.
Yep, and he's immune to being frightened.
Oh, that's big, actually. Okay, cool.
So any frightened effects on him would
You just put that on the table.
break.
Interesting. Very interesting. Okay.
So he feels alive and brave is what I was going for.
Right. Okay. So I want to say both of you, who rolled insight checks on this guy already?
I asked to roll insight, but you didn't have it. You just told me that I saw a reaction from him a little bit.
Oh, did you roll? Did you ask to roll it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. No. Please.
I was trying to catch if he knew the name about Ermgrim.
I'm sorry. I missed that. Right. Yes. Go ahead and roll an insight check for me.
16? Yeah, 16, because I am proficient in that one.
16. Okay, so here's some stuff that you get. Because I assume, like, I'm just going to be carrying your insight there, but, I mean, if you ever want to roll another one, let me know, because I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in this guy's head. Just because just leaders have a lot to think about. So I'm gonna say yes. 16. You recognize a pang of recognition when you say that name. He knows that name, but you don't know why or how. You recognize that when he's injected with the heroism, this kind of cloud of just like, when you're really, really sad and you're depressed and you have that grief, you sometimes also get this like the fear of living and what could possibly come to make it worse, because your perception is then only filled with the thought of like, holy shit, life is nothing but suffering. I'm afraid of the future because it's just going to be more suffering. And so like you see that veil kind of lift, but you also see like another veil under that lift a little bit, almost like he's scared of something else too. And it's something that it is a very deep, long-standing fear that he hides behind many, 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 many walls. And the reason you got a 19, so it's why I'm giving you that. And it doesn't lift fully. Like he's still aware of it. He still has that like optimistic caution there. But since he's immune to fear, he can't like be afraid of it. But he still has self-preservation, if that makes sense.
He knows what it is.
Yeah, he's still like, I should still avoid that. Like
Technically, it's the frightened condition.
yes,
so,
yes,
like,
but this was too much fun. So
Shut up. He's having fun with it.
yeah, no, this makes a lot of sense. Like you pretty much give him some sort of chemical magical cocktail that
bravery
lets
for a moment.
Yeah, that lets him to reevaluate the things that he's thinking about. So it'll just it straight up changes his brain chemistry for a moment. Cool. Yeah, I mean, like, this is the game. I can do whatever I want. It literally says it in the Dungeon Master's Guide. I can do whatever the fuck I want. They're more like guidelines. Cool.
That is very accurate.
Yeah.
Glad you're better. We're gonna go take off.
Right.
How is there a way that we can send word to you if we succeed? Or, a way that we can let you know if we fail?
I'm not just a magical
Yes, you
message
are.
machine.
Yes, you are.
I mean, you're
I
the
actually
bard
don't
of
have
the.
it prepared today.
Okay.
I mean, you are a bard of the college. I'm sure if you wanted to give a missive to any of my regulars, they would be duty bound to give it to me.
Okay, I lied.
As long as they
I
don't.
left
As long as they don't
You're a
work
magical
for
cell phone.
Vogel or any of the other clans.
On that, I
More
cannot
text
guarantee.
messages.
Yes.
It's more like a
I
magical
have,
Twitter.
although it shames me to.
Is
Magical
there
Twitter.
Is there someone among your regulars that you trust implicitly?
Lieutenant Kattig will be more than happy to take care of you if you can find her. That is, but I'll make sure she's part of the detachment that is on the nearby patrol.
Lieutenant Kattig?
Kattig, Carraig. Looking at you. Nope. Okay.
What?
All right.
I hate when he does
The
that.
name does so.
None of us would know.
Yes, it is.
This is also when I want to shoot him.
Yeah. He's like, I suppose it's about time that I leave this courtyard, but
I think it's
or at least a
also,
part of me, anyway.
I will say this, when you send your regulars to disrupt the riot, maybe you should make an appearance and reestablish your power. Stoneworm is not broken.
There
Stoneworm
is
here.
the other.
It would really make a show against Vogel too, because Vogel had the riot happen.
You have a point. However, it's not just as simple as that. If I don't have the, if I don't believe I actually have the right to rule this and the wherewithal too, do I really deserve this lordship? Shouldn't I be handing it off to somebody who I believe is better at it?
Then hand it off intentionally.
Don't let it be taken.
Don't just allow it to be stolen from you.
Are these people...
For mercenaries, you all are decently wise. Have you ever served in any political role before?
I mean, it is part of our schooling at the college.
Nope.
At least for in as much so that we don't put our foot in our mouth and cause diplomatic incidents when we're out into the world.
Maybe that's it. Maybe we've just caused so many problems that now we know what not to do.
Doubt
Don't-
it.
Guys, we're not supposed to say that out loud in front of the people that we're trying to convince to trust us.
He already knows we're halfway incompetent.
We're competent. We
I mean,
just
he's
have to
watched us bicker in front of him. We're doing it right now.
Honestly,
know.
I'm in a political.
We still
I'm
got
in a
here.
political role.
We
I'm
still
used to
presented
I'm used to
this.
bickering.
So, this silver flame will stay unless magically tampered with.
I'll make sure it's always tended to.
Figaburn Carrig was the captain in Caradine.
Yep. The warden.
The warden.
Which their family member, so Lieutenant Carrig, may be, related.
What's your lieutenant's first name?
Carrig?
Yeah.
Lieutenant Carrig?
Yeah.
Heifel?
Eiffel?
Heifel. Hiefel. Heifel.
Does
They
she
know
know?
a Figabar? Are they related?
Figabar.
Figabar Carrig?
Does she know what happened in Caradine?
I'm sorry. I'm not
Just-
entirely familiar with all of my regulars.
Well, I mean, just if you knew, just because Lieutenant Carrig and Captain Carrig of Caradim, the warden.
Oh,
Were they with you when you were there?
I had the meeting with them.
No, I mean your lieutenant. Did they accompany you? Were they aware of what happened in the city?
I don't recall.
Okay.
Sorry, it's all a bit blurry.
That's cool.
Were you with Security 4 during Caradim?
The lieutenant?
Yeah.
He made an appearance. Yes.
Did you see him receive a... Did you see an owl show up with him at any point?
I can't say that I did.
Like this all right.
Well, you went into Shikar.
Yeah,
he was straight up alone when he received that
Yeah.
message. Yeah.
Well, yeah, Cole doesn't know that,
Yeah.
though. Cole just knows that he got rid of the
Yeah,
message.
you're
Right.
You're right. Sorry, it's been a while.
It's been a few weeks.
Yeah.
Cole just... All Cole knew is that he had taken the message and destroyed it, because that's what you said out loud. You didn't say that he was
right.
alone
He
or
was
anything
just-
like that.
What
pretty
do you
sure he
know
was.
about what happened?
Oh,
in his
I said it to her that did. He was alone in
Right,
his
right.
office.
But
yeah.
she didn't say that part out
Correct,
loud to
correct,
us, is what
correct.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Interesting. We just, during Caradim, we sent him a message about what was happening. Just interested if you saw it.
I did not. We were almost out of the city when things started to. We were on our way back, almost out of the city when.
We were
Things
in
went
the...
bad.
Do I believe in on that?
Roll an insight check.
Was your family with you?
Aye.
19.
19. He is telling the truth with that. He is being genuine with that. He was almost out of the city. What he said was true. He was almost out of the city, and he was on his way back here, or at least leaving,
Yeah.
with his family when things went bad, and he was able to leave before things were shut down. Like, he was one of the very few that.
You had your family with you?
Aye.
Were they sick yet then, or...
Nay.
I worry because the people who started in Caradim were definitely there in force. And these are the same people we think are trying to steal your power.
The same people that we think may have murdered your family.
Indeed. These folks know magic very well. so it's not that
As you have said, husband to a murdered wife, father to a murdered son.
Thank you for letting me know.
Zemdak's looking antsy. Maybe we should start moving.
Yeah,
Whenever
Just
he
fidget
gets
spinner
antsy, things might go boom.
Just quick thought. His son's face, is it his actual face? Or is it
the
like
babe?
Yeah.
It's his actual face. It looks to be like that is the flesh of a past dwarven babe. That is like somehow, I guess, through some very, very, very rudimentary, like abjuration or enchantment magic, has been made it so that it doesn't like rot.
That was my question.
But it is a dead face. Like it looks like Pernua's. There's no blood within it. Like it's like
it's very
not
much
like-
kind of like the dead marshes in the movie, in like the Lord of the Rings movies.
Yes,
You see the
kinda like
faces
that.
and they're just purely serene.
yes.
So is
kinda
it
like that.
actually gentle repose on it or not? On him?
Roll. I'm gonna say roll an Arcana check on that one.
Me doing
Does it
Arcana?
look
Can I
like the
help?
body?
That's magic.
Does it look like the body in my bag?
Can you help examine run over to the babe's and body and examine with him as you discuss the state of his dead son's
child?
body? Is that what you'd like to do? I'm just saying, if you're going to help, you're going to have to talk about it. So you're going to have to go over there and examine it and talk to each other about it. You can't just be like,
Oh yeah.
oh, yes. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to like. I'm just trying. I'm visualizing the scene. I'm like
could be
helping with
doing
an
it-
Arcana.
I could be doing it later.
You could do
Well-
if you want to. You can do your own Arcana check if you want to do that. Like you don't, because you can do that internally in your head.
Trishani.
If you wanted to give him advantage, that's different.
When you're in your religion, when does the soul leave the body? Is there a way you can check that?
I mean, there's some differing schools of thought, but I could probably take a look at that.
Oh, hey,
let
they
me think
talked about it in front of him.
Because, all are under the god Pharaoh, really, at the end of the day. Kind of. Kind of. It's more like, it's a name.
We can talk theology when we're not in front of diplomats.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's all right. Can I do my own Arcana?
Yeah,
check?
absolutely. Of course.
Cool.
Sorry, I didn't mean to sound combative about that.
11.
11.
I got a 9.
I mean, he's got a bit.
Ooh. We know so much.
9 and 11. Wonderful. So
Mine's plus 1.
The one who really needs to be helping is, antsy over there wanting to leave before.
it is very kind of.
Yeah, I just rolled a shit
Zemdak's
number.
character. Like, okay, there's nothing I can fix here. I have to move on.
Yeah, it is.
We talked to the guy. We did what we could.
Because
I'll say
constant gentle repose. I could technically revive it.
the best you guys can grasp from that is by some form of either by supernatural or by will alone. The babe's face / body, you don't know, it has not decayed and has not rotted. Granted, that also makes it very difficult for you to figure out how long it's been since they've died.
Well, we
There's
know
no
though,
date
Kim-
on the
we know,
tombstone.
we know they were alive when we left Carradine.
Right. So
we
we have a date.
We have a time frame that they could have died in, yes. Which also means that this was relatively quickly from when the family died.
It's
that
been
Vogel,
weeks since you've been to Carradine.
Well, I know, but it was relatively quickly that this happened, and then Vogel immediately went, they don't have the wherewithal to do this. We need to be in power, not
Oh,
them."
for sure. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
In a city of mercenaries, cutthroats, and hunters, a sign of weakness is quickly jumped upon.
Can any of you? So this object that you're using, does it have magical abilities that your son is wearing to maybe preserve his body?
I don't.
I have clerical spells that can.
I'm sorry. I'm not following you. I haven't preserved his body by any means. He's just just the way he is because he's the way
Did
he
you
is.
guys see some sort of magical?
You did, right, Sunday?
I had detect magic on when I came up.
Yeah.
Oh,
And you said
interesting. Okay.
I remember.
You just didn't give me very much.
Yeah, because there wasn't really much there. But
Right.
now you have something, because there was discussion here, so now you have something to be like, and examine a little bit further. It's so I'm gonna say, so you're not sensing any spells active here.
Okay.
You're not sending any spells active here. Like the auras, the obvious auras you're getting are the magical items that you guys keep on each other,
Yep.
in yourselves. But now that like they have pointed this out, you're like, and you start to look just a little bit closer. I want you to do either. I want you to roll me a.
Arcana.
Actually, no. This isn't going to be an Arcana. This is going to be straight perception because this is going to have to do with if you're actually going to pick this up or not. Because the detect magic is doing this Arcana bit.
16.
16. Okay, there is something so imperceptibly. Sometimes when you really focus and you zen out, when you cast detect magic, you can see the breath of life. It's kind of like seeing the air around you, a little like sprites. Imagine like a part of the Feywild kind of creeping into the material plane, and you just like the breath of life. Just the air around you is just, it has magic within it. It's like how a lot of people harness their magic and just like by gathering the energies around them. Think of like, Dragon Ball Z Spirit Bomb, kind of like gathering everything, all the energies of people. And stuff like that. So the breath of life is kind of always there. One of the things you're seeing is that the movement of the breath of life is so imperceptibly minuscule. But when you take a moment to look at it, you see it moving around Logren like it's almost orbiting him. And then you see almost like the babe is a moon or another gravitational force. Some of the particles of the breath of life kind of get stuck as if he was like the center of a galaxy, and it kind of like twist around him but then get pulled away from him, and then new ones get pulled onto him, almost as if like there's something going on here that does not prescribe to the rules of magic as you understand them, which is not necessarily abnormal given the way your wizard casts spells. But there's and what comes to mind now, you can roll an Arcana check. Actually, now that you've noticed that.
22.
22. Okay, what comes to mind is something that I mentioned before in the Burnt Ends, is that things like this, the way you see that it looks like a mass of gas and particles kind of coalescing to be like the birth of a star, like what you're kind of witnessing is almost like the birth of a magical precedent or like a magical item, as if the breath of life is being like orbiting around and having a gravitational pull around some sort of centra that would then embody some sort of magical presence, some sort of magical item, like an axe that has been used 20,000 times to fell trees.
A belief strong enough.
Has an orbit long enough, strong enough, and a belief strong enough to like
Imbue
gravitational
some kind
pull
of
the breath of
effect.
life and the particles within it to then make it an axe that can fell a tree in a single swoop, that kind of thing. So you see like he, almost like his grief and his apathy and what he's feeling is so goddamn strong and affecting so many other people around him that he has created his own magical orbit. And that orbit has projected onto a satellite that is his late son.
Right.
And so like you're seeing the birth of a magical precedent, and a circumstance, as it were, which means that he may be with the 22, because God fucking damn, you have such fucking Arcana. With the 22, it could very well be that he is unintentionally, unknowingly keeping his son preserved by sheer will.
I can't lose him.
Something along those lines. Or I won't lose him. I won't forget what he looked like.
Whatever you do, keep loving your son. The gods have not forsaken you as deeply as you might believe it.
He looks at you And whereas before, like, he regarded you as, you know, just kind of the comical traveling tinkerer in the group, and just on that I can promise you.
And that feeling you had when I gave you that injection, hold on to that. Time to go, guys.
It's nice to see you looking the part of a lord again. Farewell.
I wish I could say that it felt the same way, but
We'll keep both of them in our hearts as we continue our adventure forth.
Do what the bards do. Just fake it till you make it.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but I can't promise you that you'd be welcome back. Not necessarily welcome, but I can't promise you that you'd just have to run another place when you come back. You still have to be admitted, just like everyone else. I can't, obviously, for optical and reasons for optics, I can't make it look like you are associated with me, or I have given you a job or hired you for something. It's just more ammunition for whatever other clan or political faction to use against us.
We're used to that.
If there is some way that we can start re-establishing your name for a force of good in the city to help bring up your reputation, is there anything you can think of? A rumor started in the right place can spread like wildfire.
There's always the trials, or
I know somebody who's a pretty good fighter if you need, a champion
It's
in the
not all
trials.
fighting. And then, of course, there's the ancient right of regal from, riding a worm. But we haven't done that.
What about killing a big old worm?
Oh, that as well, but, you need proof.
Have you ever rode a worm?
No.
Have you ever killed the worm?
With help.
Do you have any of that worm?
This is our help.
Do you have that worm's parts still left over, perchance? Or?
Sits above my hearth.
All right, well, there you go. There's the proof.
We found a nice one on our way to Minheim.
Were you
At
able
least
to
that's
get
what
the
they
head
told me.
off?
It was pretty fucking scary.
And if so, how?
He was focusing on the other.
We tried for like a day, and it
was a big fucker. It was.
Well, like I said, I had help, so I had an entire contingent of.
Did you bring a saw with you by any chance?
Yes,
Okay.
I heard
That's what we were missing.
I heard a platoon of 40
Reduce and then become
Micah Jacks from the Dandaral forest to chop the head off. I mean,
What would it stand for you if 6 people under your command managed to defeat a worm who work for you?
Obviously the credit gets spread pretty thin, but if all of them came back alive, the leader who did so who commanded them would be.
Cole's gonna start
Well
pointing
within
just
that
like
range.
at our group about that.
You killed a worm?
Where do you think that scale was that you put your hand on?
Had some very nice wormstone from what they were telling us.
So you have ulterior motives. You plan on taking my place?
No.
No.
Absolutely not. Or why
Actually,
would we be here?
we were
If we
thinking
wanted
that.
to take your place, we just wouldn't have done anything.
However, since we did that,
Well,
that
I'm a lot
may-
easier to defeat than Vogel or the rest of them. But
However, you could use us as a platform of these people work for me and defeated a worm.
I already told you I want to go free my father, so why would I want to hold power here to do that? What are any of us? So,
The college gets a little titchy if we seize power while having a bean. So, yeah, I don't really want your job.
it not necessarily doesn't work like that. I can't just hire people that have killed a worm before and say, oh, they represent me, and then I don't just get the right by that. No, I have to be involved in the actual slaying of the worm. But since I have you ridden the worm? That might be something different.
If we didn't have a cart.
Please don't make me ride a worm. Please don't make me ride a worm.
Well, I mean,
We'll kill it first.
it may go some
Please,
ways
no.
as to swaying public opinion, but as far as actually invoking the rights, I don't think it has any actual legal juncture.
We do have a friend who has offered to
Help
have
us ride a worm.
Oh, who?
The one that I mentioned before, the one who claims to be a true heir of Grimdamar.
They're with you?
No,
They left to do something in the city.
I can contact.
They're in the city.
They had their own matters to attend to. We parted ways when we arrived here.
Yes.
The keeper of the blue flame.
They are the ones who
Aye.
actually helped us travel through the Underdark to get here faster from Minheim.
Aye.
Being aware of what Grim is doing exactly, can I?
You want to work into Shikar right now?
No,
Do you
I
wanna-
wanted to try to understand because I can see physically how you're reacting right now, and I'm
Okay.
trying to put together the.
Yeah, I'm
pieces that
acting
can-
his part. Yeah.
So can I do an insight check?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
What are you trying to ascertain?
Trying to ascertain, especially if he sees him as a threat or if it's more of like.
Or an ally or a
Oh,
worry.
yeah, sure. Roll that insight check.
Great. Nat one.
Does my 19 from before carry over?
You think you might be a little hungry? No. Do you want to try again?
I mean,
I would like to
Since-
try again.
Yeah,
too.
it's been a while. Like you're on a different.
Since I did bring it up as well, I would
Sure.
like
Yeah.
to keep an eye
Yeah.
on
You
it.
guys. I'll say.
My 19 was like not very long ago.
double
This is a
19.
different. This is a different issue entirely. So if you guys want to roll insight checks, you can. Okay.
Double 19s.
Double 19s.
My nine knows nothing. I'm
Okay.
sure.
12.
You think he's thirsty? You think he's hungry? What?
Would you like to go
12?
drinking with me?
You
No, he
think
needs to eat food first.
Why
you
would
think
you ruin
he
good
needs to
drinking
poop?
with food?
but also that he's like trying to get rid of you because he realize he needs to take care of business, like nature calls.
I mean, this guy probably hasn't pooped for like
Yeah, this was hard. 19, like, so it barely doesn't make it, but I have to give you some consolation prize because that's still a really double 19s is a really great roll. You see there is some connection between that deep, long-seated fear, that second veil that it filled in, between that, there's some connection that's pretty close between that and Ermgrim.
Between the name Ermgrim or the blue flame or
The name
name
Ermgrim.
Ermgrim.
The name Ermgrim. Or like just the idea of Ermgrim.
My boredom is fully set in. I'm trying to tame my new shoulder pet.
Okay, go ahead and roll animal handling check.
18.
I'm not saying does he lose a finger?
18.
Pulled out some jerky and I'm
Sure, yeah. So it is a full just like leather pauldron that is like kind of a layered leather pauldron, except one of the layers just like lifts up, like peeling it back, and rather than it being like leather under it, it's just a mouth with teeth. And so the pauldron just peels off, have it, and just like opens like a book on his shoulder, and just this big old mouth with the tongue and all these razor teeth, and he just drops a piece of jerky in there, and you just see this thing go. Very cartoony style, like one side of the mouth and then the other side of the mouth chewing, but the pauldron's just doing that. Seems pretty happy. It's like when you drop your dog off to another person's house, and they're like, "Here, have a treat," and they're like, "Hey, you know what? You might be a stranger, but you're not so bad." That kind of thing. Where they're like, "Okay, I can get down with you, yeah, as long as you keep giving me treats." So this thing seems to be adapting to you pretty well.
I could also see it just going, oh, I would love to have those fingers attached to the beef jerky
Yeah.
too, but I guess I'll take the beef jerky.
Yeah, it, like there's like the tiniest part of its brain that's like, don't bite the hand that feeds.
Someone's tamed it before, so.
Okay.
We have a riot to deal with.
Yeah.
I'm almost tempted just to say, let's get out of here, guys, and we can figure out the plan to deal with the riot. It's probably better if the less he knows about it, the better.
Plausible deniability.
Exactly. if we screw up, then you can't. Then you don't know anything.
I'll re-Eugene loving myself before we leave.
Amazing.
Great. Okay.
I'll hand you an apple pie.
Where'd you get an apple pie?
Not a real one. Just an illusion.
That makes no more sense. I'm like, when did you learn to bake?
What's your passive perception?
19.
19. Okay. I'm gonna. Okay.
Till next time.
That's
I wanna
both
go
of
grab-
us there.
Let me go grab something real quick.
Oh, it feels so good. Just feel like.
Till next level, where it'll be 20.
Does our proficiency go up next level?
No,
Oh.
it's ASI.
Yeah. I need that.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You all get that next level.
Yep. And
You get
spellcasting, so I get +5.
Actually,
to
no,
my
I don't.
cantrips.
So,
You have to get
Which can be dangerous.
Depends on what level
so
it's at.
both of you notice as you're leaving that he flags down one of the guards and brings him over to talk to him. But Cole, you don't read lips. You do.
Yes.
So, do you want to try to? Are you
of
trying
course.
to? Okay, of course.
Why would I not?
You see him do
You
two
read
things. Roll a perception check for me. Now that you're actually physically paying attention.
15.
15. Okay. Just want to make sure my notes are correct here.
I mean,
I'm not
I
trained.
have a 9 in perception. So
I'm not trained in it.
I am a bard. I need to pay attention to what I'm doing.
I'm a cleric that's not trained in perception or medicine.
It's pretty
Well,
great.
wait. The way you like to deal with issues is if it doesn't burn, then it's not a problem.
No, it is a problem if it doesn't burn.
That's
Right.
true.
That's a big problem.
That's right. I'm sorry. If it burns, it's not a problem. Hence, the hand.
We'd have a. You know.
You could totally wear your Michael Jackson glove over it if you wanted to.
No, it's human sized. I've already thought
Right,
about all
right.
this. It does not fit on my hand.
You should get it tailored.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just take it in, get it altered.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got Adam on a tangent to look at the difference in hand size between a human and a dwarf.
You guys are ridiculous.
I'm just waiting for him to make you these magical little fingertips to replace over that work just as well.
I know how this works.
And then all of a sudden you have.
You brought
called
up the
fun
large
tangent.
reduce before, so I was thinking I could just
Make the
put it on your hand and reduce it.
And
so
then
it like
reduce the
shrink
whole
wraps your hand.
Yeah.
That only lasts for a minute. So
and then it would go back.
yeah,
The sound is great, by the way.
it wouldn't be very helpful.
Oh
So-
yeah, it's.
Um,
I've been listening the whole time. So
what did you get for your perception check?
15.
15. Okay, so you're not going to get the whole conversation, but you get two things. One, you see that he looks as though he's ordering someone to give a message to Lieutenant Keddick to send a patrol to that area. Then, as the guard is about to leave, he grabs him by the Logren grabs him by the wrist with the firmest vice grip you've ever seen. Like, he doesn't even move when the guard tries to pull away, and it's almost as the guard is trying to pull away a mountain of stone. And the guard stops and it gets pulled back, and Logren just stone freezes and looks at him with the most stern, serious face, and says something about, "I want a second patrol, and I want you to be looking for Durgar." But that's all of that you catch.
Okay.
Once we're back outside, I'm going to whisper to everybody. He knows. He was trying to not registered or pretend he didn't when I talked to him in his mind. I said Erngrim's name, and he tried to like be.
He just put out another patrol for a Durgar.
He's afraid of him.
Cole, I know I'm not trained in this, so you may know better, but do you always have to tell everybody everything you know?
Seriously.
Why are you calling him out like that?
I don't know. Do you have to tinker with everything you find?
Yes.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
But I mean, we know that there's people listening to us. So perhaps in the future, it may be better to not...
Hold on. I didn't tell him everything we know out loud. I said most of it in his head. Certain other people...
Well, you said just Ermgrim in his head, but... No, I mean, honestly, it was kind of a collective thing. Y'all did divulge quite a bit.
Yes, we did.
Yes. But I love how it's like, Cole.
You were doing most of the speaking.
Oh, by the way, this entire time, it was very hard to take you seriously because you have raccoon eyes on your face.
I know. Cole doesn't know that, though.
Because, like, I'm not comparing grief with a child with raccoon eyes on his face.
I'd forgotten about that when I was talking with him originally, but yeah, no, that makes more sense now. Unfortunately, I don't do the whole prestidigitation every day morning when I wake up, unlike
Right.
some people, because, I wasn't inside of a purple worm's ass.
Oh, my God. Yo, the shade.
It's weird not coming from me.
The Goodberry thing and the mage armor thing is pretty great, though. And then the disguise self. But you could do it at will, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah. Is your mage armor up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I cast it. I always do. And
Every
I always
morning?
tell you.
Oh, yeah.
Only lasts for 8 hours.
I understand. And definitely recast.
I did hear her cast that, yes.
Okay, so...
This morning.
And everybody has extra good berries because we're about to go into a riot. And I cast all those yesterday, so they're very...
Okay, you guys leave. You guys are escorted out of the Fang proper. As I said, like, there's kind of like a wall that is like the fossilized gum of what this like fang that kind of protrudes from the thing that you guys are escorted out of that tier.
Stop it. Guys, don't forget to get your weapons. Where are you guys going?
Silly me.
Your weapons, as you leave, your weapons are returned to you.
Like, they would have us stop at the guard entrance and hand them back,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
They'd be like, if you just kept walking, they'd be like, you
TJ kind of sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to say things.
Yeah, that's very true. Yes.
Okay,
yes. I do require you to say things.
I'm just imagining them like taking like 5-10 minutes to hand back enough blades and all the tools and weapons that
scratched my shield.
Eleazar have on them.
You're gonna pay for this. I have insurance claim. I'm gonna file a claim. Okay, great. You guys leave.
And then we have our little talk about how
between day and night.
you.
Sure, you have your little talk. As you have your little talk outside of the Fang proper, that's where we're gonna take our break. And we'll be back in a little bit. If you're watching this episodically, head over to the next episode. And as always, stay safe out there. See you in a bit.
Bye.
Bye.